So the first thing is tell me more about ePACT, because this is really, really cool.
Okay, so ePACT is a single emergency record that families use to securely store their emergency information online. Load in their medical conditions, anything that might be really needed in an emergency contacts, and then they can share that online with organizations that need it in an emergency situation, like their school, the rec center, their employer, or events like the Ride to Conquer Cancer, which we'll be using the product this weekend.
So this isn't just for athletics, this is for anything.
It's really for anything. It's for any organization that has a duty of care for somebody. So anyone who's caring for our children or who may just need to reach us in an emergency. So we work with lots of different types of organizations. Parks and Rec departments across North America use it for things like summer camp programs, athletic programs. We work with municipalities that use it to collect basic information from residents so that they can reach them in an evacuation situation. And we use it in big events like scouting jamborees, where you've got, 3,000 12-year-old boys in the woods. It gets used heavily.
Yeah, I would think so. What's actually in the pack? Because a lot of people will think, well, is there a small defibrillator? Is it e-pens? What's going on?
It's actually emergency information. So it's actually an online record. So what happens is, in the case of the Ride to Conquer Cancer, they will have sent an email out to all riders and said, please log in and provide your information. And then if something happens along the route, someone's injured, they can access that one record and see this person has, maybe they've got a latex allergy, which is critical to know in a medical response, or they've got a drug allergy. They also can, the other way they'll use it is, there's a route change along the course, which we had last year. There was a windstorm and they had to reroute this whole event at the last second. This year they'll be able to actually send a mass email, text, or voice message out to everybody along the course through ePACT. So within kind of 10 minutes, they'll have a message out to everybody to say, stop where you are, or we're rerouting to a different lunch spot, or whatever they need to.
When did this all come together? Has this been a few years now in the making, or?
We started ePACT about 4.5 years ago now. It was actually an inspiration after a friend of ours went through the earthquake and tsunami in Japan. She was separated from her family for about 3 days. Kids were at school. One of those sort of, worst case scenarios that we here on the West Coast think of in the back of our minds. And when we talked to her and looked at what she went through, we thought, there's a lot we could do using the internet to help make these family connections and these connections across communities stronger in preparation for an emergency.
Was this a Made in Canada idea?
Absolutely. Made in Canada. We're based in North Vancouver, and our team is all based here. Our data is hosted here in Canada, and so we've grown up with a great group of Canadian technologists, and so far, so good.
And a website for people who want to check this out?
www.epactnetwork.com. It is free for families, so families can go in, create a record, share it among their own emergency contacts, build their own emergency network, and use it for anything from passing on information to a babysitter to making sure everybody's on the same page in case of a natural disaster.